Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about a vow James Vowles has made, as well as more about McLaren and their clever trick. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on X at James's Pit Lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. So let's start with James Vowles, who's vowed that Williams must significantly tighten up their communication after Carlos Sainz was left frustrated at the Miami Grand Prix. Now Williams had a good Grand Prix in Miami. You know, the car was looking pretty strong throughout the Grand Prix weekend, and while in the sprint side of things it didn't really go to plan, in the main Grand Prix they got a double points finish. But Sainz was unhappy after being overtaken by teammate Alex Albon in the early stages of the Grand Prix, having been left under the impression that his teammate, who was nursing a reliability issue, would stay behind him. And speaking about it, Sainz said, as quoted by The Race, "If I'm told on the radio that I'm not going to be attacked and we're going to push together, to be overtaken as a driver you feel stupid because you feel powerless, you're playing the good guy. The same way that I played the good guy in Jeddah, you get overtaken and you look completely stupid. But it's the way it goes. We'll talk about it. I'm sure we'll come out of it better as a team and we'll move on." Now, I can understand why Sainz would be annoyed. You know, if he's been led to believe that Albon's not going to overtake him, and then all of a sudden Albon's overtaking him, and it's sort of come out of nowhere, yeah, I think it's fair to say that that's going to annoy you. And appearing on Williams' post-race Vowles verdict show, Vowles admitted that he was left frustrated by the confusion between Sainz and Albon, insisting that the incident of the nature simply won't happen again. He said, "To Carlos the message was communicated, Alex won't attack you, and to Alex the same message was communicated that he isn't to overtake Carlos, but only when his DRS was open and he was effectively alongside Carlos, completing the overtake. So this is an Alex going against team orders. This is on us, as a team, as an organisation, to significantly tighten up how we communicate to the engineers and how quickly we communicate to the drivers. There's a lot of learnings that come out of this. What I can assure everyone is, it simply won't happen again." But let's move on to McLaren, with more being said about their trick. Now, as we know, McLaren are the team to beat this year. You know, they're leading the Constructors, they're leading the Drivers' Championship, and, you know, especially in hot conditions, their car is very, very fast, and that was especially clear at the Miami Grand Prix. You know, they just dominated that race. And a key part of this is how McLaren is looking after its tyres and how it's keeping its tyre temperatures under control. And as revealed by The Race, multiple checks conducted by the FIA on the McLaren brakes, including a more detailed inspection on Sunday night in Miami, confirmed that everything it has been doing is firmly within the rules. So the message from the FIA is clear that McLaren's design is just simply clever. So what could McLaren be doing? Well, The Race say that teams use various solutions to try to best isolate the heat being thrown off from the brake discs and get it out of the back of the car to not heat up the wheel rims, which then as a consequence warms up the tyres. And The Race go on to say, but a close look at the rear solutions up and down the grid points to the McLaren perhaps being the most intricate in terms of how it's doing that. While other squads have aimed to help with cooling the brake discs or calipers by keeping elements exposed to a lesser or greater degree, McLaren appears to have enclosed them quite aggressively, most likely using ceramic-lined carbon fibre to help in this. It has then created some intricate flow routes from the brake ducts that help to create the cooling effect it's after. So it's a very clever solution from McLaren, and it really does look like they've mastered the way of cooling the outer surface of its rear brake drum, which then helps in stopping the wheel rim and tyre that sits over it getting too hot. And it's certainly a difficult thing to do, with Alpine Executive Technical Director David Sanchez being quoted by The Race as saying, "We're doing a bit of everything in that very small space. On the one hand, you really have to cool the brakes, but when you consider the brakes get to 600-800 degrees, you're really trying to avoid that heat to find its way to the rim and to the tyres, or you're trying to control that heat flux. So that's the whole engineering challenge, just to control that heat path. You basically want to use the minimum amount of air to cool the brakes, and as much as possible to cool the rest." But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.